Certain historical narratives have been purposely obscured, casting a shadow over the rich tapestry of human existence. And even France tried to erase this hidden black history. France, a nation celebrated for its cultural treasures and historical importance, has a lesser-known side. Colonial expansion and the slave trade, eras of oppression and exploitation, frame this concealed history. France's global colonial operations left a complicated legacy of achievements and horrors. Despite this historical turbulence, its black population's contributions, difficulties, and cultural life were overlooked. This concealed black history was erased due to a complex interaction of social standards, political agendas, and selective memory. Enslavement and systemic prejudice encountered by black people were either ignored or excluded from dominant narratives, leaving gaps in France's history. Despite obstacles, the black community shaped French art, music, literature, and activism. Recently, awareness of the need to reveal and face this concealed history has grown. The hidden tales of black French people have been fiercely revived and honored by activists, historians, and cultural advocates. This project gives an opportunity to right historical wrongs and a fascinating look at French society's development. France faces unpleasant truths while embracing its diversity as it confronts its past. The process of uncovering this secret black history honors those who, despite all odds, left an unmistakable mark on the French tale, which is now being presented in its entirety. France tried to erase this hidden black history, unveiling the untold story. Can a nation's past be erased? Can forgotten tales of perseverance and success last? Discover suppressed truths and voices as we explore history's shadows. What happens when a nation's history is manipulated? Does remembering the past change our view of the present? Join us as we explore France's hidden past and confront its echoes. At the Arkansas Negro Boys Industrial School in 1959, a tragic event of unimaginable proportions took place. A fire broke out in one of the dormitories, which resulted in the deaths of 21 black students who were trapped inside the building while it was burning down around them. The event caused shockwaves to spread across the community and brought to light the poor circumstances as well as the inadequate safety precautions that were present within the school. The dormitory's doors, which were locked, proved to be fatal impediments as they prevented any of the young people who were trapped inside from escaping the fire. The tragedy sparked widespread grief and outrage, highlighting the urgent need for greater safety rules and a heightened awareness of the precarious conditions that African American teenagers faced during that era. The outrage was prompted by the fact that the occurrence highlighted the urgent need for improvised safety regulations. The memory of this tragic occurrence serves as a painful reminder of the systemic injustices and negligence that plagued the lives of marginalized folks, and the cry for justice and remembering still resonates today. The memory of this tragedy serves as a poignant reminder of the systemic injustices and negligence that plagued the lives of marginalized individuals. A disturbing story of racial inequality and white supremacy was revealed after a mysterious incident took place in the heart of Arkansas. Authorities at all levels of government carefully hid information about the occurrence, so people in disadvantaged groups are still wary. After a fire in a minority-populated area, the official cause of which has not been revealed, there were claims of a cover-up intended to shield wealthy and influential parties. Since no official cause of the fire has been determined, racial bias allegations have persisted in the police and court systems. Conflict between the government and communities of color is exacerbated by this tragedy, creating a climate of unfairness and isolation. The cover-up by the powerful not only prevents victims from finding resolution, but also highlights the ongoing fight against racism and adds urgency to the call for openness, responsibility, and an end to systemic discrimination. American boarding schools in the post-war era were used for a variety of objectives, sometimes reflecting underlying social disparities. There was cause for concern regarding racial segregation because some schools supported discriminatory practices that kept their student bodies segregated along racial lines. These institutions maintained a status quo of educational inequality by providing less support for traditionally underserved student bodies. Some boarding schools even used punitive techniques of discipline that had a profound effect on the mental health of their students. Some institutions had strict rules, corporal punishment, and authoritarian atmosphere that emphasized control over individual growth. Students from disadvantaged families were disproportionately impacted by these policies, which only added to the difficulties that they already faced. These historical realities highlight the intricacies of the post-war American educational landscape, as not all boarding schools followed these policies. Slowly but surely, people began working on solutions to these problems so that schools might be safer, more welcoming places for all students. During a difficult moment in its history, Arkansas built many institutions with the express purpose of teaching black children. Although this was an obvious improvement, it was tarnished by the fact that these students were not afforded the same access to resources as their white peers. Despite the high population of schools serving African American children, many of them were severely underfunded and lacked basic necessities. Because of this egregious disparity in resources, white pupils had access to better learning environments and more promising futures than their non-white counterparts. It is imperative that we confront historical disparities to create a more just and equitable education system for all, and the legacy of this educational division serves as a reminder of the systematic racism that once afflicted the education system. The tragic past of the Arkansas Negro Industrial School reveals a sordid account of abuse and neglect. The 69 boys who were housed there were subjected to appalling living conditions that were in direct violation of their basic human rights. These innocent children were condemned to a nightmare life where they were beaten and made to work. They were deprived of the infancy itself while they labored away in isolation within these walls. The basic human need for sanitation was not being met in the school. These boys were already in a very difficult situation, and the lack of sufficient facilities just made matters worse. The cruelty they suffered imprisoned their hopes and desires, portraying a harrowing picture of institutionalized unfairness. The crimes committed at the Arkansas Negro Industrial School have left behind a lasting reminder of the value of justice, rehabilitation, and the protection of human rights. Orville Fabus, a notable figure in Arkansas politics, is primarily remembered for his adamant resistance to school integration when he was in office. This is the primary reason why he is remembered today. While he was serving as governor during a great time of significance, he took a stance against racial integration. This was most notable during the controversy surrounding the Little Rock Nine, when he aggressively rejected the integration of African American pupils into schools that had previously been all white. The actions of Fabus caught the attention of the entire country and brought to light the long-simmering racial tensions of the era. Fabus failed to address significant concerns inside the state despite being in a position of responsibility, and after witnessing poor living circumstances and troubles with the state's infrastructure, even though he was aware of these problems. During his administration, areas such as education and social welfare saw insufficient development, and there was little effort made to offer ways in which these areas may have been improved. The legacy that this approach has left behind is complicated, as it is distinguished by his antagonism to integration and a perceived neglect of the very concerns that he had the authority to remedy. No one was ever charged with starting the fire that killed 21 people, even though there was widespread speculation that it was set on purpose. The tragedy had sent shockwaves through the neighborhood, leaving behind a wake of unanswered questions and heavy hearts. It was difficult for the legal system to uncover proof to back up the suspicions as the inquiry stalled. A somber memorial was built at the scene of the tragic fire to remember those who perished there. The memorial is a somber reflection of the lives lost and the grief felt by the community as a whole. The memorial provides comfort to grieving families, friends, and neighbors by providing a central location for honoring the lives of those who were stolen from them far too soon. The memorial is a symbol of recollection and a testament to the strength of the human spirit, even if the absence of justice is a lingering sentiment. Thanks for watching. For more, kindly subscribe to our channel.